What's going on, everybody? LK here with Lord ApologyMan and Lord Jonathan Tene. And today we're going to talk about a character none of you talk about, Zato. Yes, Zato, the hardest character in the game as rated by Guilty Gear Strive itself. What's going on, guys?
Yeah, no, I think Zato is, more talked about now that the game's been out a little bit longer. I think players like Gobo doing well definitely put the character more on the map like early on. But I think the character is definitely much more popular now, and yeah, he's scary. I think he's really good.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he's like I didn't or I wanted to play him like when the game launched, and then I didn't because I didn't think he was like good enough or whatever, right? But he got some really good changes, and also like because he's like a technical character, like he got basically a lot more figured out, and people actually know what you're like supposed to do with him now, and that helps a lot. So I think he's definitely in like he's in a really good spot, and also he has the advantage of like if you want to like learn Zato, you have a lot of like really good players to get footage from, right? Like here it's like I don't want to like gas myself up or whatever, right? But like Marlinpie is like not only he's really good, but he also like innovates a lot, so you can watch him. Macho gets like good results too. And Nokami is also he's also good to watch because he like does some different stuff with the character. And then internationally, like Latif is killing it with Zato right now. And Gobo obviously like he won like the first like really big offline invitational for this game. So you have like so many like good players to watch, and they all play super different. So it's really you have a lot to like learn from basically, which is nice.
Player expression, huh? That's weird. I don't.
Also on this list is Jonathan Tene. You're definitely on the list. This dude has been putting it. So if anyone's been watching like the E-Series tournaments recently, Jonathan's been doing a lot of work there too. So that's been really cool to see. Like you got like second, like third with like most like one of the most like stacked brackets. And yeah, I think it's awesome that the character is like being pushed super far, and like, there's so many good players playing him, and a lot of good results for him.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting that like, you know, he's one of those, right? Like, of course, there's been a couple of patches since the game came out, and they definitely helped him. But also, it's like, you know, those characters develop. Zato's pretty polarizing in Guilty Gear history, though. It's like either this is actually a pretty fair version of Zato overall. Like, he is either like really stupid. He reminds me of Arcuna, either really stupid or like something is wrong. So Zato players are like, oh no, oh he has a weakness. Oh. But we need him in this game because we have too many punch bots in this game. So we actually do need him in this game, in my opinion. Anyway, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. I think Zato, like being good in past Guilty Gears is like everyone has like nightmares about like the unblockables that he does and like all the other cheap stuff. Like when he's good, he's like broken. But in this one, he's good, but he's not like absurdly broken how Zato has been in past Guilty Gears, I think.
Yeah, he's at least like not super toxic, and he's still like he still does have like some pretty not fun to play matchups, at least.
Yeah.
But if you really hate him, you can just pick the right character, I guess.
Yeah, like Axel, your boy. that matchup will historically always be bad, I guess.
That's right.
I've been thinking since Exer that they just make characters to beat Zato. Like real talk. They just keep on putting like Elfel, Jacko, Raven, and then like you were saying that Zato Jacko is actually like pretty good in this game. I was pretty surprised because when I was picking up Zato, I was like, this is pain, and I want to go back to Millia ASAP.
It's weird. It's really hard to learn.
It's a really nuanced matchup. I was watching his so he played against Adventure, the Jacko player from I think like the Midwest. I forget where he's from. But yeah, that matchup is super weird. Like a lot of, you know, just Shadow interacting with like all the different servants and stuff. But I guess it's not as bad as it was in Exerd.
It's a meme matchup in Exerd. I don't know if you've seen it.
I was panic mode when Jacko got revealed.
Well, everyone was panic mode when Jacko got revealed.
I like when the trailer came out, it was like right after top 8. I DM'd Julian, beautiful dude. I don't think he's playing Strive anymore, but we talked a lot about the character like earlier on, and I was like, all right, keep it real with me. How bad was it? And he was like, learn Axel.
It was really bad for people who didn't play Exerd. If you played Dragon Ball, you know this move, but Jaguar had a move where she puts a bubble around herself and negates all projectiles. And then Little Eddie was considered a projectile, and of course you have like Invite Hell and stuff. So it's like you can't. She literally just does not let you play the game. And in my opinion, she was a little, you know, the way she plays neutral once the servants are out is a little, you know, a little anti-fun, to put it politely. Right, so you have all those things, and like Zato's not that mobile, and then they keep on nerfing Eddie every version of Exert, and you're just like, man, pain. So when I saw Jacko come in the game, I was like, oh, and not even as like a Zato player, just like as a Guilty Gear player in general, because of like the way she played the game.
Yeah, that character was the one time I was like, okay, they went a little too far. This is a little too much dice kick. Come on, dude. That matchup was also terrible for Faust too in Exert.
Oh, good thing.
Yeah,
good thing it's not like that anymore.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No way. Not anymore. But yeah. It's outside of like, you know, like some of the tough matchups that Zato still does have in this game. He has some like pretty important like good matchups too.
Yeah.
I think
uncommon good ones too.
Yeah, uncommon good ones. I think he does well versus Naguru Yuki.
Yeah, that's like the big one.
I think that's like being good in that matchup is super duper valuable. We made a video somewhat recently about like what we think our top 5 characters are. And I actually put Zato in top 5. Not biased because I play him all the time, but I honestly think it's partly because like he has like a valuable winning matchup.
My man, ApologyMan's on a mission to kill characters, bro. You hear that, Jonathan? He's on a mission, dude. He's on a mission. Zato's top 5. Like, come on, dude. When characters need to get shot, you know. When I hear Vinny say an uncommon character is top 5, I'm like, dude, you want him to die that bad? Like, goddamn, dude. Zato died already in the game, bro. Like, come on, man.
Fighting is my specialty.
But I mean, like, jokes aside, he is really, really strong. Like, I probably have him in like S minus. Like, I have like that top 5 to me is like S. And there's like a couple of characters like right under them. I think Zato's pretty much right there. I don't know how you feel about it, Jonathan.
I thought he was like right there, and Happy Chaos came out, and now I feel a little more bad about it. But he's like, if he's not 5, he's like 6. That's kind of where I'm at. He's like right there. You know what I mean?
And it's a weird one too, because he's not common in tournaments, despite being so strong. Partly, at least in our region. I can't speak for other regions, but I definitely feel like our region really leans into the easier, more stable top tiers. There's a little bit less stress. You can make more mistakes with like Nago and Leo, like life and defense and things like that. So despite him being as strong as he is, you don't see him a lot. There is the problem of like, oh, oops, like someone might play Axel, but a lot of characters have oops, someone might play Axel. So
yeah, no, I think the difficulty of the character is like part of what makes him like so uncommon, right? Like you're not gonna just go into your pools at whatever Guilty Gear tournament and just be like, man, I fought all these Zatos in my pool. Like that just doesn't happen. Like the character has good representation at a high level because you gotta be like, you gotta put a lot of time into playing the character, and like, you know, the best players are going to do that and push the character. But like, yeah, most people aren't willing to put the time to like really push him. But yeah, he's like, when you get good with him, man, it's so scary. He's so good.
What's your biggest pain with Zato right now, Jonathan? Sadness.
My biggest pain is probably his sweep. I think it's a sweep. Because
why?
It's basically the same range as his 2K. So you hit your 2K and then the sweep whiffs a lot of the time. You have to be like dashing at them, right? For that to happen. Yeah. Because and then also the other thing is that like his sweep on block is -9. And what that means is that like usually off of like a block button, Zato wants to like engage in RPS like to get Eddie out, right? Because he's like basically if you block a Zato button and then do nothing, that's scary, right? Because then he gets to start the party. So usually they want to like do something after blocking one of your buttons. But because his sweep is like -9 against certain characters like Leo and Ram, they have options like, so Ram's like reversal super, right?
Motorboat.
9 frames. And so if I do nothing, I get hit, and if I do
special cancel,
if I do anything, I also get hit because of Opposed losing to supers. And then Leo's a little bit less extreme, but like his H flash kick is 8 frames. So if I do everything but oppose, then I lose. and then if I do oppose, he can throw me. So that type of thing is also pretty annoying. Like if he had like pretty much anyone else's sweep, I would be very happy. But he kind of needs to have that sweep, so it's not too bad, I guess.
Sure. Yeah. Speaking of Leo, what do you think of that matchup for Zato? I know you play with K7 and Razo.
I've been playing it like a whole lot the past like 2 months or something.
Yeah.
I think it's like I've gotten to the point where it's like I don't like it, but it isn't as bad as his other bad ones.
Okay.
It's like slightly. I used to be like, okay, this is really bad. Now I think it's like
slightly bad.
Yeah, but I definitely like I'm okay playing it in tournament now.
For sure.
I'm not gonna like if I lose to Leo in tournament, I'm gonna be like, yeah, okay. I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, this matchup's.
Man. Because that's the character to beat, man. The character is
in our region, yeah. In our region for sure, it's Leo. Everyone's on a mission to figure out how to beat Leo. It's funny too because people say that Zato beats him. So.
Oh.
Yeah, I've heard mixed things. Yeah, from Jonathan, I've heard like it's a little hard. And, like I've heard it's even. I've also heard like Zato wins, but
the nice thing is that like I think that about the matchup, but that's like after playing for like probably like over like 100 hours in the past 2 months of just like Zato vs Leo, right? And the surface level of that matchup, if you're a Leo player who hasn't like practiced that matchup, it probably feels horrible, right? Because a lot of your like regular stuff that you do doesn't work, and you have to answer like Zato's situations with like stuff that you wouldn't normally do. So in tournament against a Leo player who isn't familiar, it's probably a great time, right?
Yeah, for sure. And also that character can just just oops you like and like just completely rob you. But yeah, that's pretty interesting though. Like I think like Zato's matchups are still not fully defined. Like I fight Jonathan a lot, and Faust. I play Faust. He plays Zato, and that matchup I think I've like had so many like different thoughts on it, and like I think we still both don't know like who wins. Like I think it's even. He thinks Zato wins. Like at one point I thought Faust won. I don't think that anymore. But I still think it's even. But I'm gonna work harder.
Zato's worst matchup?
Zato, I would say probably May, and if not May, then like Axel. And May is like for a super boring reason, I think. And it's just because like she jumps at you and your anti-air is too slow. That's like. So it's like her jump S, like it hits really deep, right? That's what's unique about it. So a lot of the time it'll like beat certain 6Ps if you don't do it immediately. But like even if you do Zato 6P immediately, it's still losing to May's jump S. And so like the answer to that like type of jump in from May for pretty much most characters is like you just hit a different button that's not 6P. So it's typically like your jab, right?
Yeah.
Except if Zato hits jab and he anti-airs May with his jab, May just kind of like when Zato hits his jab in the air, unlike a lot of characters, he doesn't get like a combo or anything. At best, he gets like another jab, right? That's a combo. So it feels really bad to like you can't actually discourage May from jumping at you like that super hard without committing to something super preemptive, like an oppose or a frog.
Yeah, for sure. I see Latif complain about that matchup a lot. He plays against Flash, who's a really strong May player.
They've developed that matchup a whole lot.
Yeah.
And Axel is like, so it. I mean, it's like historically bad or whatever, right? But I haven't played that matchup in other games. But in this game, it feels like pretty bad just because it doesn't feel like Zato is meant to be a character that approaches you, right? He's in like 90% of his matchup, he's the one that's running away from you. And so, first of all, it's like it might be like kind of a little bit of bias because I'm not, as the Zato player, I'm not actually used to running at people, right? But also, it's like his like approaches all like a lot of them require like a little bit of like setup. Like, okay, you want to do this once you have Eddie out, and then you can get in. And Axel's buttons are very, very, very good at killing Eddie. And Zato also like doesn't like dealing with stuff like jump S and things like that, right? Like his only real answer to jump S a lot of the time is like he runs up and then he does oppose jump blocks the jump S, and then he like does far slash, and punishes it sometimes. But now Axel can actually jump cancel his jump S, which was not a thing before. So now that if the Axel player doesn't do like an air dash jump S, like if they just do jump back, jump S, and they save their air action, that's not even like a punish anymore. So it feels like you have to call them out like a couple times to get in, but that one I'm not like as sure in because like I haven't played that matchup as much as some other ones.
You guys have played Millia versus Zato. What do you guys think of that matchup?
Go ahead. So I played a few people at this point. So I played Kami a bunch. I played Macho in tournament twice. I played Jonathan like a ton the past like couple of weeks. Overall, it feels like one of those like Millia is fine, but I don't get enough return on some stuff. So like it's like kind of overall Zato's favor. When I play Kami, I'm like, brother, like what can I do? Like it feels pretty bad. Even though I win games, it feels pretty bad. And sometimes after we're done, he's like, honestly, I'm surprised you took this many games off me. Like I think this match is free. I was like, whoa. Like it's like I take it as a compliment. I'm like, whoa. Like he thinks this is a terrible matchup for her, and I'm just like ridiculous at it. But then there's also like Millia Hopium, right? Like there's like hitboxes that haven't been explored, and there's damage opportunities that haven't been explored so much. So like it might be that there's actually some routing where like Zato gets the lead. Like Zato has no guts, for example. So there was a game where I played Jonathan, and like I hit his throw tech, and he had like 60%, but the wall was ready to break. So like 6H hair car splat winger killed Zato. Like just from that, just dead because he has no guts.
Did like 35% or something.
Yeah, because he has no guts. So there could be some stuff about return. So Millia has a lot of matchups where it's like, at least to the point that I played them, where it's fine, but they have more return than you, and you have to use stuff that doesn't have return, so it feels bad when you're wrong. But so that's kind of how I feel about Zato right now. I still don't totally have like a super good idea. She has a lot of privilege against Zato though. She can anti-air him really reliably, and he can't. Like he has to super overextend to anti-air her, and she's good against oppose. She's good at running him down. She has really unique movement options with meter that is hard for him to cover. Like she's good at like navigating and threading the needle as usual, right? So which is pretty nice.
Something that came up a lot in that matchup was like, he's like I'm down here, he's right above me. I air throw, he does mirage, and then my air throw gets smoked, but I don't care. So I just every time in that situation I go for the air throw, right? And then it's like, okay, if this thing happens 10 times and I get the air throw once, I'm actually fine, because that one air throw is actually more valuable than the 9. Oh, I said Mirage. Capel, I mean.
Yeah, Capel. The 9 Capels you get hit by.
So if he's here and I'm here, and I do air throw every time, and the Capel works 9 times, and I air throw him once, that's actually still good for me. You know what I mean?
It's pain.
Only counter Capel every time. But, you know, that's not going to happen.
Please buff Capel. Please, just a crumb. Just a crumb. I'm tired of hearing this sentence of I don't care about getting hit by that move. Please, just a little bit. So
that was one, because like the thing is like a lot of characters, especially like mid-screen, right? Their reward off of air throw is like whatever, right? But Zato's reward off of air throwing you is like,
it's so high. You get your homie out.
Yeah, summon Pierce, 2S, drill, any drill is 50-50. Like, you really can't get air thrown by Zato. So that's a vision. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you have any quick piece of advice for? No, for Zato players who are struggling. I mean, actually, both. You know what? Both. One piece of advice for Zato players who are struggling, Zato children, and one for people who struggle versus him.
So something I've been doing in like the past like month and a half or something is it sounds really stupid, but just like use your jab a lot in neutral, like a lot.
Yeah.
Because when I started playing a character, I was like, okay, whatever. Like this button goes kind of far, but like it's a jab. Who cares, right? But the amount of like space you can control, and then some of the like rounds that you'll win off of just your jab it's gonna be a lot more than you think. So that's a really important one. What else? I'd say varying your cancel options on your buttons is super important, because if you do like 5H into Pierce, let's say, right? That's a 3-frame gap, so like effectively nobody's like getting out of 5H into Pierce, right? But if you're doing a button that's like less guaranteed into an Eddy move, like, let's say 2S, right? That's a very common one. If you do like 2S into Pierce, they can just like jump in on you or whatever, right? And then you're smoked. Or if you do 2S into Frog, they can like, a lot of characters can run under the Frog, and especially Millia, right? And then just like hit you. Or like 2S oppose, they can run up and throw you. And this sounds bad, but a lot of the risk reward on these situations is still like actually in Zato's favor. You just need to like, you need to pay very close attention to what options your opponent is picking, because like those interactions will decide so many rounds, for sure. And
yeah, how do you beat Zato?
how do you
Kill? I think it's kill Eddie.
Kill
Eddie.
Kill Eddie is a good one.
This is like probably the best advice.
Yeah, it's like, so it's, well, kill Eddie is like,
yeah, no, duh,
but like
finding out the best way for your character, how they can kill Eddie.
yeah, in a lot of situations too.
Yeah.
So like the immediate like layer one is like, a lot of the time you want to kill Eddie with your crouching buttons, not your standing buttons, for two reasons. One of them is that if I do like Frog, right, the first hit of Frog will only hit like standing characters, with the exception of like a couple of crouching moves, like let's say Potemkin's sweep, because he's like really tall or whatever, right? But like general rule of thumb is like, it's only gonna hit standing characters, so having that whiff on you and having like more time to like see what's going on is valuable. But then the other thing is that Pierce is a really like weird and inconsistent move sometimes, and a lot of he hates it so much.
I hate that move so much.
He hates Pierce. So because of that, or not because of that, like Pierce will very often low profile like moves that you do. So like a lot of characters' jabs will actually straight up like whiff on crouchers, right? Like Kai's jab, Millia's jab, right? But even for characters that won't, like Faust's jab, sometimes Pierce will randomly just like, Faust jab is here, Pierce will just like slide under, and then sometimes it won't. It's weird. Just you gotta take my word for it, right? But a lot of the time you're gonna need to snipe the Eddie like attacks with your crouching buttons because of that. So the go-to for most characters is like 2P or 2K. Usually you want to hit like, if you have a crouching button that's like 6 frames or faster, you want to hit that. So like notable ones like Ram 2K is really good at killing Eddie, right? When I play Soul versus Zato, I use 2K. When I play Zato versus Zato, I use 2P. It's just like, you want to find like a quick like crouching move to like kill Eddie, but also if it has decent range, you would rather pick that one, right? So like, let's say Soul 2P is actually faster than this 2K, but the range on 2K is like enough where you would want to use it. And I don't know, you will definitely, the Zato player like loses pretty much all their momentum if you kill the Eddie, so it's super important to like kill the Eddie, and then in the like 5 seconds when Eddie is coming back, you kind of need to make something happen. And it can get really annoying if the Zato player is just like guessing on your approach correctly, especially with like invite help, because it's so active and it also is like really big now.
Having meter like BRCing and
yeah, BRCing to like stall for Eddie is something I use a lot for sure. So you're not gonna like get in when you kill Eddie every time, but definitely like killing Eddie and then like making the Zato player feel the pressure in those seconds when he's gone is so important. And then another, speaking of killing Eddie, is another really important thing is like, when you kill Eddie, if you're like closer range, you want to be very comfortable with your cancel options, right? Because killing Eddie actually counts as like hitting something, right? So you can actually do like, so universally you can do like 2K, 2D or whatever, right? But that's usually not what you want to do. A lot of characters have like some kind of special move they can cancel into. So like from really far, you can do like, you know, 2K into a fireball or something like that. So I'd say like exploring your character's cancel options is important when you kill Eddie. Thanks for watching, and let us know how good you guys think Eddie is in the comments, and maybe also like some questions you have about him. And like and subscribe.